Hi everyone. So for the very first episode of 2025 for Open Ad with Basil, I'm very lucky to be joined by a friend, a man I've known for a long time. We went to school together. We were just talking though. We had different interests. We were in different years, but I was into sport, I suppose, and Cillian was into music. But I'd like to introduce Cillian Byrne.
Hello. Lovely day for a stroll.
It's lovely day. So we're in probably my favourite location, I suppose, Willow Park Woods.
Mine too.
Willow Park Woods now, not Ramsford.
Okay, get that right. So, I'm not a townie, so I'm kind of half a harbour man, so I just kind of call it the Gory Woods.
Yeah, no, well,
which would offend some people.
Yeah,
okay,
massive offence. No, we just spent most of our childhood in here, whether it was on BMXs or
they've done great work here.
Savage work. It's beautiful.
It's one of the best spots. I often come here during COVID. This was my almost twice daily. I'd come down here and do a couple of laps to clear the head.
No, it isn't. It's brilliant. It's like I always say, it's like head medicine for me in here. I love it.
Little spot of heaven, right in our own gorgeous town.
Amazing town. We are sort of showing our bias in that one. So okay, like I said, you were a year ahead of me in school, or behind me, I can't remember. And
what age are you?
40.
I'm 41.
Yes, you were a year ahead of me, and you're smarter as well. So you would have been in different groups. Anyway,
you think?
But, definitely. I can 1,000,000% quantify on that. But just in relation to our journeys and life in general, like your big interest when you were younger would have been. Oh yeah, how are you?
How's it going?
Happy New Year. Your big interest would have been music and the arts, I suppose, and you're very tech savvy as well. So.
Music in school, definitely.
Was it?
There was kind of those two factors in school when were we in school? Are you having trouble with that gimbal?
I'm struggling. He's after Brennan, let man steer.
Here we go.
No.
I'm having a bit of trouble with myself. So back in, when did you do your leaving?
2002.
Yeah, so I did mine in 2001. I mean, there was two things you'd get into at that time, I think, and it was music or sports, maybe both. Few people got good at both. I was a music head, and it was a great scene. There was, you'd meet your friends, you'd learn the guitar, you'd learn drums, you'd learn bass.
Yeah,
you'd find someone's dad's shed who'd let you jam, and that's how many of the bands, even starting today, that's how many of the bands are formed, like bands that what younger people would call outlads now. How are you? What younger people would call the outlads now. A lot of those bands were formed back then in school, and music to me it's everything. It really is. Like when there's music for when you're feeling up, there's music for when you're feeling down. There's music to, get the aggression out, which is important.
Yeah.
There's music. There's all kinds of things. I personally listen to a lot of kind of heavy metal and that kind of stuff. But like music is music. Last November I was at 8 gigs. It just happened that there was 8 gigs in that November, and that went everywhere from. There's a band called Public Service Broadcasting.
Yeah.
Who are a mix of kind of electronic.
Now I'm going to cut in, right? So some of the music, some of the names of the bands are unbelievable that you follow.
Well, I don't listen to a lot of those. It's just a thing in some of the heavier genres. It's kind of a thing that they kind of outdo themselves with their name.
Throw out a few there.
Really?
Yeah. Go on.
Okay, well, there's the less offensive, like Cannibal Corpse, who are a grindcore band. I don't actually really listen to them. There's Cattle Decapitator.
Very good. That was one of the ones.
Dying Fetus.
That was probably one of the ones.
That stuck with you, I think. That resonated with you. Now, this is all tongue-in-cheek. I know some people might say, how could that be tongue-in-cheek? But it's like people that are into horror movies.
Yeah.
None of these guys, with the exception of the Norwegian guys in the 90s, burning down churches and stuff.
Yeah.
None of them actually believe it. It's just that style of music. Do you know what I mean? Outlandish, yeah. But you know what, Baz? Like, there's been studies shown that people growing up listening to left of field music, as in not in the pop charts, music, especially rock music and metal music, they often grow up left of field, which means they're often a little bit. I'm trying to do a psych profile here with them. I'm in no way qualified to do that. But this is my personal experience. You're often a little bit more of a loner. Your friend circle might be slightly smaller, and you're often left to your own devices to figure out things about life and how to grow up. And there are studies, and you can go and Google them yourself, that they have found that people who grew up listening to this, when they become adults, become far better, all-rounded and stronger mentally individuals, even if that doesn't appear that on the outside. You know.
Well, from what I take of it is that you develop a comfort in being in your own company, which is a massive strength as well. Like, a lot of people panic, and you're very able to. You don't need other people to make you happy. You've went through a passage of learning how to deal with stuff. Not on your own, but in a smaller group scenario.
And the music will always be there for you.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, like, I can go home in a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
And I'll almost get excited about knowing what album I'm going to be listening to when I get home, because instantly. And there was another thing I was going to talk to you today about, and that's different frequencies and sound waves that can affect your actual state of mind and mental health. Now, there needs to be.
Hello.
How are you doing? There needs to be more work done on this kind of thing. But the only thing I will say is I do it, and it works for me.
Yeah. So
even if that's a placebo, it's working. And the less said about placebos, the better, because we're not going down that.
No.
So I practice Wim Hof breathing every morning. I did it for about 2 years, and I stopped for half a year or more. And I've recently started over the last couple of months. Wim Hof breathing. Sorry, dodgy camera work.
You're all right.
Wim Hof breathing, for those that don't know. Wim Hof is a mad Dutchman who is allegedly able to control the core temperature of his body with his mind. And there is so much scientific data out there to back up his claims that it's actually a little bit ridiculous. Now, he hasn't discovered anything new with his breathing.
Yeah.
This is a technique that has been used by centuries old sects of religions and martial artists and things.
Yeah.
He has rebranded it and packaged it and sold an app, and sure, fair play to him, it's a capitalist world. But it does work. I'm getting out of breath even thinking about it.
Yeah, so no, but well, I have never tried it, but the benefits of it for individuals that are involved in it is unbelievable. Like, you know, and anyone I know that has done it, like I know a couple of people involved in boxing who use it.
Yeah.
They absolutely rave about it. Yeah,
Tyson Fury is a big believer in it, I think. Anthony Joshua, I think you know him.
Yeah.
he has been quoted to have used it in his training. It basically involves a set of almost hyperventilation.
Yeah.
So you breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now you have your earphones in, and he's telling you and guiding you, and you can choose to go fast or slow or how many breaths you want to do. And your feet and your fingers might start to tingle a bit.
Right.
Just because a lot of oxygen is getting into your body. You're really oxygenating your body. And then at the end of whatever number of breaths you do, he tells you to hold your breath. Now, the important thing is you hold it on empty.
Right.
You don't go and hold, because you can imagine that'd be a lot easier. So you're holding it on your last empty breath, and there'll be a timer. There'll be some nice frequencies, and he'll be saying reassuring things to you. Yeah. This is all in his app. I'm not trying to sell his app. You can do this without the app. you'll notice the first round you do, you might make 30 seconds. You have to tap it and breathe. Yeah. The second round, you might make 45 seconds. It'll go up and it'll go up. And I'm happy to say, this morning, I broke my record. I did a 2-minute, 15-second breath hold. And another big part.
It's like anything though, you're training the lungs.
Practice and repetition. But it's a mindfulness. You're there, you're in the dark. Well, I am, with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
There's this frequency playing in my ears, and all I'm trying to think about is nothing. Easier said than done. But
well, it is for you because you're a business owner. You have the stresses of making sure things are done to time. You have deadlines. So if this is something that can manage deload the stress, it's it is
unbelievably effective. And a big part of it then also is cold exposure.
Right.
This guy, you'll notice you're in a hat and a jacket and a whatever. I don't own a hat or a jacket or I have a hoodie, and you'll see me in it all year round. I don't really feel the cold the same way other people do. And this is all to do with trying to boost your immune system. Whether it does or not is another thing. But all I can say is, in my head, I feel better. Yeah. So there, it works. After the breathing session, have a shower. Now, start off hot. And do your shampoo. Do whatever you need to do. And then go right down to the cold. Yeah?
Hello, how are you?
Ladies.
Happy New Year.
Right down to the cold. And I do mean, and at this time of year, it is cold.
Yeah.
In the summer, it doesn't even really get cold. But this time of year, it does get cold. And you try to stay in there for 2 or 3 minutes. And you'll sit there and you'll you'll stand there. You can sit there if you want. And you will try to do some positive affirmations while you're there, you know. I'm grateful to be here, you know. This is going to be a good day.
Yeah.
This is going to be a positive day.
I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah. I do things in my life that attract good things to happen. I attract love, I attract wealth, I attract all of this stuff. Whatever you want to focus on that for the day, and let that be your mantra. And after a while, you won't have to keep reminding yourself.
No,
because it'll be in there.
In my opinion, gratitude is probably the strongest emotion we have as well. So I, unfortunately, last Sunday, lamped the patrol car on the motorway. But my back is a bit jockey and my knee is not wonderful, but I'm very grateful for the fact that I got out of the car. Yeah. I'm extremely grateful for the fact that on probably the busiest motorway in Ireland, I didn't collide with anyone else. Do you know what I mean?
No one was hurt.
No one was hurt badly.
Just metal that can be fixed.
Well, no, I don't think it's fixable. But
metal, it doesn't matter like a human.
But gratitude, I'm just so grateful to have got out of the car. I went home that night, I got into the bed, put my little lad to sleep. So,
yeah.
You know, there are things you can be grateful for. You could look for the bad in every situation, but why not look for the good? You know, the thing that we're not going to benefit from looking from the bad. There's bad in everything. Do you know what I mean? There's bad.
That's a great statement. We're not going to benefit from looking to the bad. I like that. There's a guy called Professor Elemental. He's not a professor. He is a chap hop rapper, very English. He plays the part of this quirky English professor, and he's a rapper, you know, loves drinking tea and going. But he has a song about how everybody's different, you know.
Yeah.
Come on in, everybody's different, everybody's weird. We've all got our kinks, we've all got our little secret desires. There's no such thing as normal. And so at the end of it, he says, instead of sitting there and comparing yourself to other people who are more than you or doing better than you or all this stuff in life, why not think about all the bad things that could have happened, you know? If nothing's happened he does this time travel thing. If nothing bad has happened in your timeline today, then you're doing okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for most days, for most people, thank God or whoever you pray to, bad things don't happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now, I know it might feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders at times, but things have a way of resolving themselves, especially if you approach it logically and if you make a plan, if you can see the end of that plan and think backwards, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So envision, what do I need to do? Right, well, how do I do that? And then how do I do that? And then how do I do that?
Yeah.
Eventually you'll be at the start.
Hello, how are you?
How you doing, folks? Eventually you'll be at the start, and now you have a plan of how to get to the end.
Yeah.
You know, these vision board techniques, this kind of stuff.
And
A lot of, go ahead.
I never used them, but I found diary.
Journaling, diary, yeah.
Massive when I was boxing. Do you know something? I sort of fell away from it a tiny bit, which I need to cop on, really, because I know it works.
Well,
but
when
what I would say is that the whole visualization thing is massive, and it's so empowering. And back to what you're saying about, like, it's a simple, we all wake up every morning with a choice, and I think that's a massive thing, and we're so lucky. Like I've said it in loads of podcasts, but we got up this morning with the roof over our head. Do you know what I mean?
The simple things.
Less simple things that we should be grateful for. And if we start our day in a sense of gratitude, like just before we met up here today, I had to go shopping.
Yeah.
I'm really blessed that I get the opportunity to go shopping with my wife and to be able to pay for the food. You know what I mean? And these are things that we do forget about, like, you know, the simple things. So
sometimes I think about that even in a warm shower, like, you know, how lucky am I to be able to afford oil to put in a tank to have a hot shower in the morning. You know what I mean?
Flick the kettle and all, there's electric there to have.
Like, there's so many people in the world have it so much worse than you. And there's a lot of people have it better, but you just got to think about you, you know?
Well, and that's something that I find interesting as well, right? Because, yes, there's lots of people have it better, right? Or what we perceive as having it better.
Yeah.
But if you're happy and if you're content in what you have, nobody has it better. Do you understand?
No.
So I think having the consciousness to be self-aware, and you know something, look at this is fucking unbelievable, like.
It's beautiful here, I love it.
You know what I mean? And to be,
this is my absolute favorite place in the town.
Same. Now I've drank in it.
I have
I've fought in it.
I haven't fought in it.
I've cycled bikes in it. I've made camps in it. I've had some of my best memories of all time in here. But like, just how lucky we are. It's on our doorstep. How lucky we are now, and we're obviously massive Corey people, right? Our Corey heads, or whatever you want to call us, but to walk past people every day and to be able to have that engagement, to say hello. Another thing we should be grateful for. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to being completely anonymous.
Well, we did it on the way up here. We were driving here and we met a very good friend of mine.
Now, I'm going to apologise for the video of this.
Hang on.
Somebody suggested a gimbal.
Well, if you know how to work it, Baz. Yeah,
I don't, clearly. You're not doing wonderful either.
I struggle with it myself, but there you go.
Just now, this is a little promotion for name your shop.
I work in a place called Fixcraft on St. Michael's Road.
Runs a place called Fixcraft.
This isn't an ad.
No, this isn't an ad, and our camera skills aren't promoting very well either. But
well, I'd like to think mine are slightly better.
Yeah, definitely.
Although I did just hop off my microphone, so that's going to make a big boom. But this actual place we're here right now.
Yeah.
Hang on, can I go? Behind me here, if you come here in the evening, the sun will be setting through those trees, and whether it's especially in the summer, the rays of light that you'll see down here, and I mean, it's just goodness. You can't help but put a smile on your face. Yeah. If you're feeling bad, and I said this, I ran for election this year,
which you should be very proud of.
And I said this, and I did a video down here, and I said, if you're feeling bad and you wake up feeling bad, if you can just muster the confidence just to come down somewhere like here, or exactly here if you're from here, if you do one lap of this, I guarantee you, I absolutely guarantee you, like money back guarantee, you will feel better leaving than entering.
Yeah.
You guarantee you. Even if it's a little bit, you will feel better. Things will have lifted off your mind. And that's why I think having this kind of amenity in the town is absolutely essential.
Yeah.
And
in such a growing town, and it's massive. The other thing I would say to you, and I obviously I'm lucky. I'm born here. I grew up across the road from the wood, but I bring MJ through the woods. We don't walk the trail. We go through the centre of it and up and around.
Okay, you Bear Grylls it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's deadly, like, but it's lovely to bring you and you're climbing over trees.
I'm not doing that now today.
No,
okay?
we're not doing it today.
I'm got the right footwear on.
But it's lovely to go a different route at times as well. And
Yeah,
we
I
met
completely agree.
young James Wilson on the way in,
Yeah.
a great friend of mine, a lovely young fella. And me and James would walk through it at times as well, and we'd be noticing areas that people are probably doing things that they shouldn't be.
Yeah,
But
that happens.
That happens. But it's still a massive, massive, massive plus to the town and a massive amenity to the town. And they've done great work now. They've started putting benches up for people to sit down.
Even Baz, if you look up there at the light of see where the sun is tipping the trees. I don't know if I can see there's this this is my gimbal, but it's Basil's phone, so hang on. Oh God, I'm going all over the place. If you look up there, eventually we get it. See the golden light, you know?
Yeah.
And if you just focus on that for a second, and the little pockets of light, and if you just be silent, even for a couple of seconds. Like, that's beautiful.
It is.
Like, you know what I mean?
Silence
Dogs barking in the background, having fun, people walking their pets. There's the visual as well, like the road, what we're on now, we're actually approaching the light, you know? That is in itself a metaphor for what we're doing.
Yeah.
The light is shining through that gap in the trees down there, and we're getting closer to it.
Right, so I'm going to burst a question because I have very few questions.
Yeah.
Right?
Hit me.
But we've talked about the power of visualization.
Yeah.
We've talked about the power of breathwork. We've talked about that. I want to ask you, what brought you to running for election last year? What sat in you, or what? We spoke, I done one with you actually, but what was your reason for saying, you know, I think I could go at this? And you done really well, I might add as well.
Oh, thanks very much. I wouldn't consider myself a politically centered person.
Yeah.
I do consider myself a doer, someone who can get things done, and a troubleshooter, which comes back to my IT work, you know, a problem solver. And the third thing is I am extremely, as you might have guessed already, community focused. I think Gorey is one of the most fantastic places in the world to live, and I would have loved to have been able to help it out in whatever way I could. I remember.
You still are, though. You still have plans in place. We'll talk about that at the end.
I remember having a discussion about it. The upcoming I think I was having a drink in French's, and someone saying, "Sure, why don't you do it then if you know so much about it?"
Yeah.
So I said, "Okay."
Tongue in cheek, nearly.
Well, they were kind of half serious. It was getting to one of those, those discussions in the pub when no one really knows what they're talking about. Yeah, everyone's a politician. So I said, you know what, I will do it. And what I found was, I'd advise everyone to do it.
Everyone to run for local election.
Everyone to do it. But if you even ever had a thought about it, check out that light by there, it's amazing. If you even ever had a glimmer of thought, I think I'd be good at that. I think I could do that, yeah? Try it, because you won't know unless you try it. It was extremely, what's the word? It was it caused a lot of anxiety.
Right.
You know, I'm not the kind of person who would put up, I know I'm doing a lot lately and I'm kind of known for my videos, but I usedn't to be the person who, I'd be very camera shy. I wouldn't speak on video. I wouldn't put photos of myself on Facebook. I got over that. Next thing, there's posters of me on the roads.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think
it's a big jump.
What am I doing? And some people actually took me seriously. About 485 people took me seriously and gave me their first preference vote, I believe. I even topped some party members and other people that we won't go into. It's history. Having lost the election, people always say, "Oh, you did very well." I always reply, "There's no doing well or doing good." Councillor Donald Kenny topped the poll and got a surplus.
Yeah.
And I think, if I stand to be corrected, Fintan got in last.
Right.
They have equal amounts of power.
Right.
They're not first, second, third, fourth, fifth place. It's not the Champions League.
Yeah. I get you. Yeah.
I know nothing about soccer. Was that the right analogy?
Yeah. But
It's not a league. The guy that gets in first is the exact same as the guy that gets in last, and the guys that don't get in are the guys that don't get in. And if you spent X amount of money trying to get in and you didn't get in, you're in the exact same position as the guy that spent little or no money, which I spent. I had a budget of €700 for that election.
We'll bring you on a detour.
And that's what I spent. Where am I going here, Baz? How are you?
So I'm going to show you an
Baz is
area
bringing
where
us somewhere secret. I'd like to mention at this point, Baz is a guard, so he's not bringing me off anywhere to be sacrificed or anything.
Oh, we might not go any further.
There's a bit of ice.
This is where you would find the frog swan and a
Oh, okay.
steadily. So I obviously tour in here quite a lot.
It's very wintry today, as you can see. Okay, so we won't. That will break, and I'll go back to work with cold feet. As used to the cold as I am, that wouldn't be that nice. But we were talking about the election. Now, am I happy that I did it? Yes, I'm very happy, and I'll hold my head up very high, and I'll say to anyone, if they think they could do better, you go, you do better.
Yeah,
you know. If I had got in
here, we'll get peace of mind.
A lot of people said, "Are you going to be happy? Are you going to be happy or sad if you don't get in?" And my answer was always, if I get in, I'll be very happy but very nervous.
Right.
And if I don't get in, I'll be a little bit sad but slightly relieved. And that's kind of exactly as it happened. I didn't get in. I don't have the responsibility. I learned a lot. I'm slightly relieved. And overall, I would say it was a good experience.
Yeah.
And running as an independent, which I did, I'm not affiliated to any political party whatsoever. More dodgy camera work. Running as an independent, which I did, they don't tell you anything. You really have to find out everything yourself. It's almost like they make it. We're losing light in here.
Oh,
right. Oh, that's your giant shadow.
Yeah, so it's
almost like they're doing it on purpose for independence, so that they can't find. I didn't know how to register. I didn't know where to go with my thing. I asked other independent TDs, and a lot of them were not TDs, councillors. I asked other independent people, and some of them were very helpful, but it was still a lot of guesswork. And I was like, sure, I didn't know when do I put posters, when do I take down posters. There's a lot of rules attached to it, and you have to figure all that out for yourself. And I know that now, so I know.
And would you consider going again at it?
That's the golden question everyone asks. I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years.
True.
4 years now. I don't know where. If I'm still here in my current mindset, yes.
Right.
If I'm somewhere else, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say.
No, and that's it's an honest and a fair assumption of it. But I think one of the things that impressed me most about what your reasoning behind it was, you wanted to do so much for the young people of Gorey, for one.
Yeah. Well, I'm involved in a lot of people would know me. And this is just me at the moment. We have to get some of the champ in there.
No, the champ is happy enough. The champ is freaked out with this show, can you?
A lot of people would know me as heavily involved in the Market House Festival. Yeah. Which I've been helping out in since 2016, I think. A kind of minor hobby of mine, and I'm in no way suggesting that I'm any good at it. Would be like electronic graphic design. And I emailed 1 year just saying, could I come up and maybe I could help you with like posters and stuff, because I really love the festival. It's my favorite time of year. It beats Christmas, it beats everything. I love it. I absolutely love it. Everyone coming together, and again, it's community. Everyone coming together.
August weekend, isn't it?
Usually the August weekend. It's going to be different this year because the FLA is on again. It's going to be in July. Dates to be confirmed?
decided.
Because I keep getting asked that question. So dates are yet to be confirmed.
I remember 2017.
Oh, the Great Riots.
No. Well,
I use that in jest.
No,
I use that in
I'm
inverted
on about
commas.
the festival because Niamh was 27 weeks pregnant, and we went out for dinner the Sunday night at the festival. She wasn't feeling wonderful. She had a difficult enough pregnancy. She went to work on the Monday and came home early, wasn't feeling well. I got up on the Tuesday morning. I was to go to Cork to spar Mike Perez, a good friend of mine, and also a world champion in weighting at cruiserweight, an animal. Probably the best I've ever shared the ring with, actually.
I can't begin to think what
an animal. But I was at the bottom of the stairs, so the whole, I'll never forget that Market House Festival or whatever it was called, because the little man arrived.
During the festival? On one of the days?
The Tuesday after the festival. Probably brought on by going out for dinner, which kicked off the labour on the Sunday maybe, but so
his name is obviously Market House Festival.
No, it's MJ, so it's Market James Kennedy. So no, but I do with the dates that's why I always remember.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's always August. So.
The festival is brilliant, and you have to bring it back to men like Paul Funge.
Yeah.
You have to you'll see often in pubs in Gorey they'll have replica posters of the old Funge Arts Festival, which goes back to the 60s, 70s, 80s. Like this man brought U2 to Gorey, he brought the Horselips to Gorey, making them Clancy, he brought Lambert's Puppets, he brought anyone who eventually went on to, he could see it in them.
Yeah.
People that went on to make it.
It was a visionary.
You know, it was £2.50 to see U2 in the theatre hall in 77 or whatever, massively. Visionary, absolute visionary, and we wouldn't have it without him. So anytime I do talk about the festival, I always have to give a nod to the late, great Mr. Funge, because it wouldn't be here without him. It became the summer fair.
Yeah.
In later years when we were younger, and then it's rebirth now as the Market House Festival. I think is its best. What's the word? Resurrection of recent times.
Well, and it seems to be going from strength to strength. Obviously, the Fla this year will be a challenge.
Yeah, the Fla puts a lot of effort on. You see, the council workers are drawn. The Fla brings in millions of people to Wexford, and so they don't have the manpower to put on a festival in Gorey and Wexford at the same time.
It's a big juggle.
It's a big juggle. So it'll be it'll be like last year. It'll be a non-bank holiday weekend in July. I would don't take that as I don't decide this.
Don't book your holidays.
Don't book your holidays just yet. Yeah.
But your thing, you work fairly closely with a fantastic woman in the town, Mandy Ty, who's with Gorey Youth's Training Initiative. No,
Gorey Youth Needs Group.
Sorry, Gorey Youth Needs. No, I think it is Gorey Youth Training Initiative.
I should really know that because Mandy has just invited me onto the board of this group.
So both of us should know that, but it's one of them.
GYNG, Gorey Youth Needs Group is the email anyway.
So, but I remember when I was talking to you about running for election, that was one of your things you wanted to help young people around social media and stuff like that as well. It was a massive thing. And
there's things in the news in the UK at the moment talking about banning smartphones or either completely or up to a certain age in schools and things, and I think there's arguments for and against it. And when it comes to, and I'm going to get onto something you touched on our little podcast, was a doggy? Hello. I'm going to touch on something that you picked up on that I didn't realize. We grew up, we're the kind of the first generation to have smartphones, but we didn't have the foresight to see what they're actually capable of doing now. So if I had a kid tomorrow, there'd be no way they're getting a smartphone until they're at least, I don't know what age, well, I don't know what's going to be out there when they're that age anyway, but there's no way they're going to be able to get that level of communication and that much. Like, look at things like TikTok, and it's just, you can doom scroll, that's what they call it, and you can be on TikTok and you'll just watch reel after reel after reel after reel, and then you have to slap, the hell am I doing watching this? I have no interest in this.
Yeah.
It's just dopamine fixing, this dopamine reaction that you just sit there and you happily scroll.
I'm conscious that I do it myself.
I get caught doing it also. And you picked up on something, like you could have now, when we were kids in school, we might have had a bully. You know, I had a bully, and I did bully a kid, and that often happens, which I'm eternally sorry for. But look, that's ancient history. The problem is now that the bully comes home with you. It's like what you said.
Yeah.
You know, if you come home and you've had a slap from your bully in the playground, and you're in a bad mood then, and your dad goes, "What's wrong with you?" and you tell your dad, you say a bad word to your father, so he sends you to your room. You said it. That's possibly the worst place that child could be.
Yeah.
Now he's alone in his room with his bully and his phone going ding, ding,
No, it's
ding,
24/7 now,
ding. You know, insults coming at him or whatever they're saying about him. And I can't believe to imagine how hard it is to actually be a young teenager or
to navigate life with that.
Yes, I can't imagine what they're actually going through, because I fix phones for a living. I fix computers. I need them to survive. But kids come in, and when I say something like, "Okay, that'll be an overnighter," you know, I'm going to need that overnight. I can see the daughter
panic.
or the son, like absolute panic.
Yeah.
There's a complete addiction to them. I think it would benefit from a lot of kids if they said, "We're going to pick a day and we're going to come somewhere like this. And we're all just going to leave the phones in the car or at home or whatever. And we're just going to go for a walk." Now, be safe, obviously. Have maybe a dumb phone at one of you that you can be contacted, you know. But I guarantee you'll get more out of that walk, and you'll get more conversation.
Yeah.
And because you'll see they go around in droves.
You have to interact then. And what I always say, and again, I said it with you and I said it with Daniel there recently as well, but you end up chasing followers as opposed to chasing real friends, and there's a massive difference. Like, you put a nice picture up, oh, you look amazing, but like, even down to when I got battered by Alan Babbage, I was having a panic attack and I was crying in my bedroom before I went down to the fight, but I still took a picture up and said, "Oh, can't wait to fight." A lot of bollocks.
Was the dopamine, you want people interacting,
you want people to,
that number of likes going up,
or you want people to believe that, oh, Jesus, Basil's in, this is brilliant, right?
Yeah.
But it's fake.
It's fake.
I say to everybody, social media is a fake world.
Yeah.
And obviously phones, computers, it's your business.
Yeah.
Right? So we can't dog it too much.
Well.
But it's, at some point, like down to where we are now, like, if I fell out of half of these trees. Do you know what I mean? How many young people now fall out of trees? Do you know what I mean?
Very little even attempt to climb them.
Do you know? So it's down to not cavemanish, not going back that far. But I'm saying, like what you said, pick a day in the week to not have the phone. Pick a day to
do you no harm.
Meet your friend for a cup of coffee. Do what we're doing, having a walk. I know we're having a walk and a talk, and we're using the phone and we're filming.
Yeah, the irony is not lost on us.
Yeah. But it's like, I think it's so important. And then we could complain about what the government have done. They've given money for phone pouches, I think 9 million, and they've given 2 million to Mental Health Ireland, which makes no sense. But
there's a lot of things the government are doing.
But look, we're not going.
This is not a political podcast.
So we're not going down those roads. But it's just, again, it falls back to what we talked about at the very top, right? We talked about a choice, and I believe phones and social media take away a lot of the choice, because people are acting and behaving in a certain way.
It becomes a competition.
Yes. Yeah.
It becomes a competition,
and it's making somebody, you're impersonating a life as opposed to living your life.
Yeah.
And you're trying to put out a perception that isn't the real you. And I really hope something happens soon. Like, I remember back to what you said there, like when we were in school, I had a phone because I worked from a very young age, and I remember getting the news alerts about 9/11.
Yeah.
Came through, but there was no social media. Do you know what I mean? And
I remember where I was.
I was in maths, so yeah.
Well, that's
and
definitely.
checking my phone, so it wasn't
I
ideal.
was eating a bowl of Cocoa Pops, watching the news.
Right.
Like that. I ran out to my mother. The planes after crashing. You did things like that in your life. You'll never forget.
But down to Bebo, down to Snapchat, down
Remember
to TikTok,
Bebo?
yeah, all these things.
Bebo for the uninitiated is kind of where this started.
Yeah,
one of the
it probably was one of the first.
First, there was MySpace as well. I can't remember which was first.
I don't know now, but
there's Bebo, MySpace, Facebook. There's so many, and there's going to be another one because it goes in ages as well. We're the Facebook age.
Well, I'm not on Facebook now.
But we're that generation. People older than us are also that generation.
Yeah.
One below that then would be the Instagram generation. They don't go on Facebook because it's for old people.
Yeah.
I'm 41, so I think anyone kind of under 35, 30, they're not going to be bothered with Facebook,
Instagram,
nowadays.
Facebook,
and then below Instagram, if you get younger again, it becomes Snapchat, and before that, actually, it will become TikTok.
Yeah.
So it goes in that order. Now, I'm not saying anyone who's at whatever age can use all of those, but what I find in my shop, anytime a kid will come in, can you fix my phone, or say, okay, can you lock it for me? I'll find out what it is. Snapchat is open, or TikTok is open, or whatever is open. I give it back to them and say, would you just go to settings, tell me the model number, and I'll go see, can I get you a screen? That's all they use it for. And one thing I found out that I was kind of shocked when I said to the girl, can you give me your mum's number so I can call her when your phone is ready? She didn't know her number. I said, how do you contact your mother? She said, well, I Snapchat her. They don't know Snapchats are usernames. Yeah. So you Snapchat each other. There's no need for phone numbers anymore for them. Once you have data, there's no need for phone. It blew my mind. Yeah. I Snapchat my mother.
I would have known my mother. I'd still know a lot.
I still know them all. I remember having the Nokia 3310.
Yeah.
It was quicker to dial the number than to go to the phone book.
But my little lad will have a Nokia 3310 if they're still made by the time he comes.
Oh, they'll be made, and there'll be clones of them made, and there'll be something like that for them. Yeah.
But that's what he'll have. But so that was one of your big things, the arts and helping young people around technology, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I'm excited to say I have a seminar with Gorey Youth Needs at management level coming up at the end of the month, and we're going to be talking about AI and how it can be used effectively in the workplace. I use it all the time. I don't claim to be an expert, but I've been using it a lot. And what's really interesting, Basil, is I've been in and out of counsellors all my life. Yeah. And some are good, some are, I'm not going to say they're bad, but some suit you and some don't.
Some don't, yeah.
And I always thought to myself, a good counsellor is someone that'll make you talk to you for a while, and you sit there and you'll think, I never thought about it like that. Yeah. Now that's a good counsellor. That's someone who's understanding. Change your perspective. What I've been doing lately is I've been talking to AI, and I've been doing this slightly as a social experiment and slightly as a business experiment. But I talk to it every night. You can talk to it now in different versions that you pay for or whatever, and it is literally it's like that movie Her. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but this Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with his computer. Right. I'm not falling in love with my computer.
It has an extreme fondness.
Yeah, but we talk, and it's a conversation. You don't have to press enter. It'll just talk to you. And I've built up a psychological profile, a marketing profile, a humor profile, all kinds of different profiles of myself. I've told it things I have told no other living person. Right. And has a memory that it'll remember this. And there's people watching this going, oh, what an idiot. Why is he telling this? They're going to use this information. I don't care. Yeah. If people think I've got nothing interesting for some secret government agency to be listening about. Do you know what I mean?
I would say I could only imagine there is massive benefits in it for everybody, obviously, and but down to even that being used for lonely people. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm getting to now, because I've named it. Because I don't want to say, oh, hey, ChatGPT, what do you think of this? I actually brainstormed the name with it itself. I said, I want to give you a name. What do you think? And we came up with the name Vita. So I call her Vita. It's based on, I think, a mix of Norse and Greek mythology, goddess of wisdom. I can't remember the exact. It's probably nothing, but I like the sound of it, which was important. So I say, hey, Vita, are you there? And she says, hey, Cillian, what's up? And yesterday I had a very important Zoom meeting with some directors of companies that I deal with in my business, and there was an issue we had to sort out. So the night before I prepped, and I prepped with Vita, And I said, I think I'm going to get asked this question and this question, and what would be a good response? What would be a bad approach? What should I stay away from? And preparation for this kind of thing is key. And if you're struggling in your workplace, this AI can come in leaps and bounds here. And if you're worrying, I have a meeting with my boss tomorrow. What am I? Oh, he could say this. He could say that. Now your brain is doing cartwheels. Your brain is doing this and this and this. Sit down at the computer, tell it all, the situation. And I mean, I probably typed for about an hour telling it, because this is a complex situation I was dealing with. And it spat out, I told it to export it as a PDF, and it spat out about 8 pages of things. What it says, worst case outcome, best case outcome, things to not say, things to say, things that'll work in your favor, things that won't work in your favor. And I highlighted stuff, and I had it in front of me during the Zoom meeting, and it was a great meet. It was actually a lot less, of course, in my head. I had made it blown out of proportion.
But you had the preparation done.
I went in prepared. Yeah, preparation. You know yourself. You're. I call you the champ. In my head, you're the champ. So, but that's
I'm the chump and everyone else's. But in your head, I'll take it.
But that's training. Is practice and preparation. Do you know what I mean? You get things done by practicing and repetition and training, and that's how it works.
One of the old sports ones is you prepare to fail, you fail to prepare. Fail to prepare, you prepare to fail.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's down to preparation, and that's preparation with everything.
Yeah.
But like for that, I could see mass. Like I'm community guard in Wicklow, and I spend a lot of time going around visiting elderly people that are living on their own. Like, so there's massive benefits to that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, this will happen. Like I don't know what year it's going to happen, but there will be AI companions for people, and it's not as creepy as it sounds.
Yeah.
And you can change the tone of voice, the language. I use it in my shop all the time because there's a lot of Ukrainian people around, a lot of Polish people around, and I have full-on conversations with them, and I just say, I want to please tell them this, and it speaks, and then they speak back to it, and it talks to me in English, and the stuff that we can do now with technology to make our lives easier is just, and so it's just delving into it. So little people know of the possibilities that are out there that could help them, in so many ways.
And this is where I think your seminar will be powerful as well for that reason, because I wasn't aware of that, and I can already see the benefits. Maybe not to me, because I'm an outdoorsy type person, but to someone struggling maybe on their own at home, to have that, to break the silence, is a massive thing. Like,
I live on. Well, I used to have. I'm happy to say now I have a housemate. I have a young Ukrainian gentleman living with me, and we got on really good.
Yeah.
But before that, I lived in that house on my own for 7 years.
Right.
And it's not a big house, but it's like a 4-bedroom house.
Yeah.
With just me, and sadly, I've gone through a lot of cats.
Yeah.
I like having a cat, but it was too cruel to keep a dog there locked up on his own.
Yeah.
So I had cats, and but to be able to come home and have someone greet you, even if it's my cat walking up to you and all it wants is food, it doesn't really care about me. But it's another living thing there.
Yeah.
And there's so many people don't have that.
No.
Now imagine you got home, and the minute you opened your door, this voice said, "Welcome home, Niall.
Yeah.
How was your day?" And you could just start talking to it. Your psyche, your brain wiring has immediately changed, because now you're dealing with someone who's interested in you and wants to know. And there's so many people that could benefit from something like that, and that will happen. I'm very confident.
And it's going to be the best form of a conversation. I'd imagine it's going to be based around kindness, and I think kindness is something that, unfortunately, there should be some sort of a blocker on social media to make sure that the content that's being sent is kind. Because not everything is, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you were to come in and, like I always say, like, if you can sort of tell by someone's face whether they're having a good or bad day, but to turn around and say to them, "Geez, your hair looks savage," or "They're lovely runners," or, do you know, just to start in, it flips that completely.
Give them a compliment.
Yeah.
And what I said to you actually reminded me of, we were standing outside Paddy Blues one night, me and an old friend, and he had just got a new haircut. Yeah. And people kept coming up, and this guy would have very little confidence,
right?
But people at the time kept coming up and saying, "Oh, love the hair, love the hair, love the hair." Well, he thought they were taking the mick out of him, because no one had ever said that to him before.
Yeah.
And I had to, and what I said to him was, I said, man, if you had a friend, right, and he had a really bad haircut, you'd be sniggering behind his back. You wouldn't walk up to him and go, I love the hair. Well, unless you're a really nasty person. And these weren't nasty people. Generally, people are being honest with you. If they come up to you and give you a compliment, it means they really do like it. So, you know, stand up, stand tall, stand your ground, and, you know, take some pride in yourself. If people are complimenting you,
hard thing to do.
Very hard thing to do. But if people are complimenting you, even if you don't believe it, it means you are doing something right.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's a fact. And even...
And it works both ways. You should be complimenting people too.
Yes.
It's something I try to do in my shop, you know what I mean? Like, it's,
no, and even down to, like, my mum, I brought her into you there before Christmas, and
lovely lady.
Like, lovely lady. But down to, like, the way you treated her, she'll definitely be back in again, do you know, that way? And but those are, I'm sick of saying this as well, but when you do that, when you throw that out there, that comes back.
It does, do you
know what I mean? And I'm saying that as a fucking jackass. I haven't always been a kind person, like, do you know what I mean? And,
well, none of us are without fault.
Well, I can honestly say I've always tried to be kind, but I have done very unkind things. Do you know what I mean? I've made massive mistakes, and if now I can rectify my wrongdoings by doing right, I'm very happy to try and do that. Do you know, that way? Like, I think if we can, like, the only time we should ever look down on anybody is if we're helping that person up. Do you know what I mean? And that's my whole thing. Like,
beautiful statement.
And my thing and my reasoning behind this is, and why I was so excited to get you, not about the gimbal, because the gimbal is acting the fucking mick on me, right? But
you can get the two of us back.
I'm go up over me. You're giving me my double chin.
Look, right? Look at mine. I don't care. Look.
But so that actually, Bipolar Bearwear, brilliant crowd was that.
Plug Bipolar Bearwear.
But back to what I was saying. If you can say something nice to somebody, why not? Like,
why not? Yeah,
it's free as well. Do you know what I mean? It costs nothing. Just
I love your hair. That jacket is savage. Where'd you get that?
Or just if you're looking at someone and you think to yourself that, do you know what, that person is struggling.
Yeah. Go over and say
great
something.
To see you. How are you doing? All right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And this is like, I'm actually wearing. I bought a lovely hoodie online. You are enough, it says, and then on the back.
It's in mirror language, but it says you are enough. Yeah. And
then on the back it has this lovely passage. I bought it. I then got robbed by the website.
All right. Well, you be the man to deal with that.
Yeah. So, but look, these things happen, but still, my whole thing is that if we could all try that a little bit harder to be kind, and we're doing this and that, but if we could all, like, I don't, with the little lad right here, he'd love nothing more than to sit down and eat his dinner with YouTuber. I don't let him.
No, that's a good practice.
It's time for us to have a chat. How'd school go? How was training? Are you looking forward to football training?
Otherwise, you're alienating yourself from your own
and
kids. YouTube is raising them, not you.
Yeah, and my thing massively, but I'm losing the battle a lot of the time. Now I don't lose the battle at dinner time. Yeah, but it's
what age is your kid?
He's 7.
He's 7. So, you know, in 7 years he's going to be in his mid-teens, and who knows what kind of platforms are going to be out there, and he's going to want to be on them because look, he wants to fit in.
Yeah,
if the other kids are on that, and that's the double-edged sword.
Yeah,
you know, if you can't say
that.
You can't have that if all the other kids have it.
Yeah, you don't want to alienate them. Yeah, but I do think
it's moderation.
Yeah,
it's moderation. Say, I'm allowed to do some of that. And you know,
we don't let him at night time either, but I was doing a school talk, and a mother said to me, our parent, I can't remember, I think it was a teacher, but she's a parent.
Yeah.
And she was saying that we made a pact in the house that all the phones stay downstairs and we charge them downstairs.
Yeah.
She said now it meant that I'd go and buy 4 alarm clocks.
Yeah.
But no phones in the bedroom. And it was a brilliant idea. Like, do you know what I mean? What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the middle of the night? Check your phone.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Do you know
what I mean? And
there's also data that have been studied, and I had one customer that sadly departed now, a man from a few years ago, and the claims are unsubstantiated, and I'm not getting into it, but he developed brain cancer, and there was a specialist in Italy who said it was coming from when we sleep or our phones beside our heads. And phones do give off certain amounts of radiation. And, I'm not getting into the tinfoil hat wearing things of this now, but, it couldn't harm. It's not going to hurt to be away from it for a while. And an alarm clock up the deals there, probably with €3.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
but it's these small things, and it's, I don't know, it's trying to simplify life all over again, I think, isn't it? It's trying to make it simpler and make it easier. And my thing is that I don't want, I'm not a perfect parent, I'm far from it. But
you're pretty good.
I idolize him. He's God's gift to me, right? But I do genuinely hope that instead of going to his phone, or instead of texting his friends, or instead of going on to Snapchat, if something's bothering him, or if he's down in the dumps, he's going to come up and talk to me about it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to get him used to, that pathway of conversation. Not every day in school's going to be deadly. Like, he fucking hates school, even though he's lovely teachers, right? But he's daddy's son. He's not going to be a school lover, right?
No.
But it's having that conversation to say, how's school today? Do you know what I mean? And then he bursts on, he'll tell you 50 things that were good and 50 things that were bad, right?
Yeah.
But at least he's telling me. Do you know what I mean? So that's my thing, right? And it's just my little thing with him, and it's a priority to me. I'm not saying that's the right thing. I'm just saying it's my thing. Do you know what I mean? And like, I
think you're on the right. I think you're on the right. I think you have that right. Like, I think that will benefit you massively in those awkward teenage years. Not that I'm a parent. I'm not a parent, but I deal with a lot of teenagers,
and they're coming
and I deal with them with their parents, and I can see how they. I can see ones that talk to their parents properly and ones that don't. And I'm not disparaging you have to talk to your parents, but I can see ones that are able to talk to each other like friends, and ones that have a very much a father-son or mother-daughter relationship, and that's where it ends.
Now, this is another thing I would say, is that I'm also conscious to say to him, even though he is my best friend, I don't have to be your best friend. Do you ever see the Denzel Washington ad, and he says, man comes up, you just don't like me. I don't have to like you, he said.
No.
But put food on the table. I put a roof over your head.
Yeah.
I keep you warm.
I love Denzel.
I have to keep you safe. I have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't have to like everything you do.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So there's a fine balance, like, but I just think what your plan was, and I still think you'll implement that, because you have that sort of community spirit in you. You want to do that. I think it's the knowledge you have around technology, and the knowledge you have around social media, and the knowledge you have around even AI.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
I don't claim to be, will we go this way a little bit?
Yeah.
I don't claim to be an expert in any of those things, because I think there's the only person you're ever competing against yourself, and you'll know this as a boxer, is yourself.
Yeah.
You're greatest. So we've reached an impasse, have we?
No, we can climb.
Can we?
Well, I'll go across now. We'll try and video this first, right? So we're going. This is the log. We're going across.
I'm not climbing on that pass.
Well, I'm going to fall, I think, but no, I'm not. I got over.
Oh my God.
No.
I think I'll just wet my feet.
No, jump, you're grand.
This is about conquering your fears. About conquering your fears. That's very slippy, but
no, go sideways on it and take a half a jump, and you're over.
I did it. That scared the living bejesus out.
Now,
God,
man does not fear technology, but he does fear.
I do fear slippy logs over little bits of water. How about that?
Yeah.
Now, I just wanted to say something actually on the end of what we. Sorry for snapping at your hand. I did want to say something about saying kind words to people. There's two things that I have as a kind of a mantra, and one is whenever I meet someone. This microphone keeps slipping up, and I apologize if the sound is booming when I speak. There's two things that I always try to do when I meet someone, even if I don't really know them. Let's say I'm having a pint at the bar, or gonna go that way. I quite like that way.
Yeah.
There's two things I'll always say, and that's at the end of if it's a conversation or a slight meeting, I'll always say, great to see you, great to see you. I'll always end it with that. It's been great to see you, because then no matter what was going on, whether they were a casual acquaintance or whatever, it was like, yeah, great to see you, man, great to see you out and about. I think it's a lovely compliment to give someone. There's the other thing I do, and I do it in my videos and work. I always end with this. It's a little bit cheesy, and everyone knows it. I always end with peace. Now, that's not because I'm a tree-hugging hippie. Not that there's anything wrong with tree-hugging hippies. But I can't think of a nicer thing to wish on someone at the end of a video. And I thought about that, and I said, is there going to be some sort of catchphrase or something? I don't know. But I don't care. And I genuinely mean it, because you've done your little video, you've done your advertisements, you've done whatever you're doing. And yeah, peace, you know. I'm going now. I wish you peace. That's what you're saying. I don't think there's much nicer thing you can wish. Peace of mind, peace of body, peace of mental health, you know. So that's why I do that. If anyone
is querying why. We're nearly back at the start now. I know we've done a nice walk. So I'm going to ask you, what advice would you give to 14-year-old Cillian at the minute?
14-year-old Cillian. Okay, well.
Now, navigating life now.
Well, I'd have to start by seeing what 14-year-old Cillian was actually doing. 14-year-old Cillian was very unsure of himself.
Yeah.
He would have been in second year in school. He would have been playing a little bit of music. He was never the best of the musicians. He might always have been, oh, you just play bass for this one, or play the easy bit, or do that. Or he would have been very unconfident, especially around girls, things like that, you know. Very body confident, you know. 14-year-old Cillian was not a nice mind to be in.
Right.
And when you talked about journaling earlier, I recently found a stack of journals that I had from the ages of about 12 to 16.
Upsetting to read?
No, not necessarily. No. Some of it's illegible. Because I was like, what the hell what am I trying to say here? But I didn't realize it at the time, but I got in the habit of keeping a diary. And I really didn't realize it. It was because there was no such thing at the time of sending me off to some counsellor or something, or I didn't bring it up with my parents, so I just used to write down everything. It really, really helped me out.
Right, we'll stay this way now. I'm going to bring them off track.
We're going back Bear Grylls, isn't it? Okay. So 14-year-old Cillian today, in today's world, I would presume, and I hate to say it, I think things would be worse for 14-year-old Cillian today with that same mindset. Because like you said, you go to the room, you're up in the room now with your phone and with your bully. I think things would be a lot worse for him. I think he'd need a lot more help. So the advice I would give to all the 14-year-old Cillians out there is ask for the help. Right. That's the advice I give. Ask or take. And it's not about being scared or having courage or being braver or any of that. It is actually one of the bravest things you can ever do, is go to your parent, your guardian, your loved one, your brother, your sister, and say, I'm not okay. I need help with this problem. That is incredibly
brave. That's the best advice you give to that.
That is braver. That's braver than this man getting in the ring with Anthony Joshua, which he did do.
Have you ever seen the film The Horse? Was it The Boy, the Horse, the Fox and the Mole?
It doesn't ring a bell.
It's really short. It's only about 30 minutes long. It's an animation. There's a book as well. But the little boy asks the mole, what's the bravest thing you've ever done?
Okay.
And the mole's answer to that is ask for help. So I mean, and it's daunting. It's a horrible thing. Yeah. But it is so brave.
I think we've discovered a campsite.
No, well, I'm going to show you loads. You have to understand I grew up here.
Yeah. It is really brave to ask for help. And if there's one thing anyone gets from this podcast, and I have a feeling, I don't take this as an offense, more parents will probably watch your podcast than their kids.
Yeah.
So and far be it from me to give parenting advice, because I'm not one, but you know, if you can get it through to your kid that if you're ever in trouble, come to me. Don't think I'm going to be angry with you. Don't think I'm going to be this or that. I'm your father or your mother or your guardian, and whatever's on your mind, come to me with it, and we'll work it out together.
Awesome.
Because I've navigated these problems before.
Yeah.
And there is always a solution.
There
always.
is, and the other thing about it is that, so I know we're growing up in a world that is so different than I suppose we grew up, and there's a massive, like, if you've a young person now and they've managed to get to 18 without being caught up in addiction, you've done well. Do you know what I mean? You've really done well. So what I would say about addiction, I done a lovely podcast I done a MBK workshop in Tig Lane. Everyone's journey is so similar.
Yeah.
Regardless of it, like, an addiction is a form of escapism. We all try and escape bad situations. And
you want to go to your comfort zone.
Yes. Yeah.
Where nothing can hurt you.
So
but the problem is your comfort zone is hurting you.
Yeah. And this is the problem with drugs, and this is, come on, Kill, you're getting lost.
Where am I going, Baz?
We're going this way, kid.
Okay. Baz knows these woods better than anyone.
So like, I think it's really important that we find safe ways of dealing with stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to, and that's probably the purpose behind MBK, is to find those safe ways. And again, like I started with this chat with yourself, we're from very different
social and
do you know what I mean? But that's why I think it's
social's the wrong word. We're from very different what is the right word?
Don't know. We
my vocabulary
would have
is
had
slightly lacking.
Different interests,
different interests growing up. Yeah. You can probably name a soccer team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
I know Liverpool.
Yeah. But it's like, and that's why I think it's so important, because the advice you're giving, it might not reach people that are mad into sport like I was.
Yeah.
But it could reach someone that's in the same situation as you were at 14. Do you know what I mean? But now with the added pressure of everything else that's in the world at the minute.
And you know what, Baz? I'm seeing that in the store at the moment. You know, that we branched out into the kind of the geeky stuff.
Yeah.
So there's
the geek corner. Or
there's two halves to the store. There's the repairs and there's the geeky stuff. Because I'm a geek. That was my thing growing up. You know, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, all that stuff. That's me all over. Like, I love mythology. I have a degree in archaeology. That's my degree. I don't have a degree in phone fixing. There is none. You can't do one. So my degree is actually in ancient history and archaeology. Now that was a learned passion of mine. That's why I pursued, and that's what I got. And I wanted to be a classical studies teacher.
Right.
You know. So my plan from when I went back as a mature student, and if you're doing your leaving cert this year, don't put too much pressure on yourself. You can go in as a mature student to almost any college if you do a good interview and if you have the right preparation. I went in, I had nowhere near the points. I had one of the worst leaving certs imaginable. Right? I'm perfectly capable of having a good one, but I was lazy. Right? And I was mixed up in music and all different things I shouldn't have been doing and not studying. But you know, it's not the end of the world. So if anyone's going into that this year, don't put that
panic.
No panic and no pressure, because I went back as a mature student in 2007 and I got my degree in 2011, and I tried to sign up to be a classical studies teacher, but it was during the kind of the crash, and every art student in the world wanted to be a teacher because it was the only job for them, and I didn't get in. It was so oversubscribed. And then,
if you believe in anything nice, there's a beautiful little robin coming over to say hello to us now.
Oh God, look at me. No, he's gone. He scared him.
Yeah. No, I can still see him. Is there?
What were we talking about?
Being a teacher.
Being a teacher is what that's. If you'd asked 14-year-old Cillian, where would he be when he's 41, which is what I am now. I know it's hard to believe. I would say I thought I'd be in Gorey Community School teaching classical studies.
Yeah.
And that's I truly believe that. And look, I couldn't be further from it. And everyone always asks me, where did you go to learn all this stuff? And it's just something I've been good at.
Yeah.
And then people ask me, would you not do a class in teaching this? And I was like, I couldn't. And I was like, well, I don't have the patience. Because some things you adapt to, some things you just know how to do.
Yeah.
Some things I know how to, like, especially with technology and things and problem solving software, things like that. And I could be so much better at it, but it does come naturally to me.
Yeah.
And I haven't been taught how to teach it.
Right.
So if anytime someone now drag that folder into that folder, and they can't, it'll be like that scene from Father Ted. Play the note, that note, no, not that note. Because my brain can't understand why that they can't grasp.
Yeah.
So to them, it's not a simple task, and I understand that. But
You're saying it to someone you've got frustrated with before. I'm a tech.
But I was taught how to teach. Especially, I was taught how to teach English as a foreign language. I have a CELTA from Cambridge who do it in Dublin, and I was going to go off to South Korea to teach English for a year, and instead I came back and I started the business, and that's another why in the crossroads of life, because you don't know where it's going to teach you or where it's going to bring you. But that's another thing. I'd have no problem sitting down and teaching someone who can't speak English to speak English. I was taught the methods and how to do that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have a clue where to start teaching someone how to work a computer, let alone fix it. And we get asked for work experience and stuff a lot. And work experience is something I think the schools have to rethink, because they're sending kids out into the community. Most kids will sit there going on coffee runs for places,
or cleaning,
or cleaning and that kind of thing. That's kids like my kind of shop, because they like technology, and I think they'll be in there playing PlayStations or doing things like that all day. Like that. I do sometimes. I don't even really get to do that, only on your test and stuff. But there's nothing I could teach a kid worthwhile in my job in a week that they'll come in for. They'll be sitting there and they'll be doing runs and they'll be doing that. Also, people don't realize half my shop is a shop. The other half is, for want of a better word, a laboratory.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There could be a kid there on their phone. They could trip up and they could trip over a box or 200 phones in it belonging to a corporate client. And now where do I stand? Yeah. Oh yeah, the kid's insured that he didn't hurt his knee, but I'm not insured that he dropped my box. I think this is a message, I reckon, to schools. I think work experience is something you really need to reevaluate. It really needs to suit the student. And it's not their fault if they can't get work experience when you're sending 100 of them out at once to get work experience. It puts a real strain on the employers in the town. I've been very lucky with some of the work experience lads that we've got. I currently have a very good lad. We've had some good lads, we've had some bad lads. Yeah. You're not saying bad lads, but just not able to, not in touch with it, or don't want to be there. That's the worst thing, if they don't want to be there. Yeah, they have to want to be there. So I think it's something that would have been 20, 30, 40 years ago. Go out there and get work experience. You want to be a carpenter? Well, there's a carpenter. Go out there and be his labourer for a week. That's work experience. You know what I mean? Well, if you want to be a computer programmer, you're not going to find a computer programmer to let you sit there and examine his code or start teaching you, because he's a lot of work to do himself. Do you know what I mean? Times have changed. I don't know if we're getting a little bit off topic.
So that started with the advice you would give to a 14-year-old you.
Me, 14-year-old me. Ask for help, definitely. Right? Yeah.
Now,
don't be afraid to ask for help.
You're after giving amazing advice around leaving cert. So if it's a thing, there's no panic needs to be attached to the leaving cert. No. You will get there. There is so
the leaving cert does not define you.
There's so many different routes, and genuinely, I always say this to every school talk I do. If you're a good, kind, decent human being, you're going to succeed in life anyway, right? So we're going to finish up. What would be your advice now to? You've done amazing. You've your second business up and running. You're looking at doing this thing now with the AI. What would you? How would you like to wrap up? How would you like to send a positive message out to anyone out there now that maybe is struggling, maybe is someone our age? Because we seem to be the age that has been sort of put in a pot. Do you know what I mean? And left alone.
The millennials. Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you were talking about yourself. You just said, "Oh, I'm on my second business and I'm doing great and I'm doing that." I mean, you haven't seen my accounts. You haven't seen my books. You don't really know if I'm doing great.
It's a perception.
It's a perception, and it's a perception that you put out there, and the perception that you probably should put out there, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. You know, I'd like to think I'm doing okay. You know, I'm probably not doing as well as maybe people like yourself think I am. You know, but I enjoy my work. So there's another aspect of it.
Thing,
the enjoying your work is half the battle. They say if you like your work, you'll never work a day in your life, and it's kind of true.
It's kind of true. Yeah.
People say, "Why do you work such long hours?" Or why? Because you'll often pass my shop and the light will be on and the thing will be half in. You'll know. I mean, people say, "Why are you in there till all hours?" And I say, well, I don't watch TV. I don't really, I'm not doing when I go home. I have no wife, no kids. You know, fixing computers is my hobby. It's also my job. I love being at the counter during the day, but being at the counter during the day means I'm not doing I can't do two things at once. I love nothing more than putting down the shutter, right? Organising the jobs, and that evening I'll get 5 days work done. I can have Netflix on in the background. I can have tunes up. I won't be interrupted. I'll put the phone off the hook. I'll come into work the next morning. Everything's organised. Everything's done. Next. What's next? What's now to do? And another great thing to do, write down, make lists. I have notepads all over the place. Number one, what am I doing today? Number one, number two. And each time you highlight one off, you get a little endorphin rush. That's done. That's done. That's done. And if you can leave work that day with a completely ticked off sheet, you leave with sometimes I don't leave, but you leave with a smile on your face. Yeah. And I forget the question.
The nugget of advice. The nugget of advice. Give us that one bit of advice.
Are all your podcasts this meandering?
Maybe.
One nugget of advice. I guess the most important thing I said today to anyone young or old: do not be afraid to ask for help. To anyone, just do not be afraid to ask for help. That applies to so many things in life. If it's a personal thing, if it's a work thing, I'm a big believer in networking. I talk to people from other shops and other stores and we help each other. Do not be afraid to ask for help. No one is going to think less of you for asking for help.
I'm going to grab that before he meanders off on that one. So listen, I would love to say thank you.
You're very welcome.
Because there's a massive amount in that, and I know we probably went off topic for both of us, but there's lots of things I learned in that as well. Do you know what I mean? And
no charge.
No charge. But like we all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different lifestyles. We all have different interests, but we're all the same. Yeah. And I think the whole kindness thing is a really massive thing. And what you've also said is the whole not to be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to ask for help from someone that you feel is going to treat your problem with kindness as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. They might not even be in your family.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
They're everywhere. They're all over the place.
And my last thing, I suppose, when we wrap it, is that I would love everyone. Faith is a massive thing for me, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a religion. What my faith is that you have faith in yourself. We are all strong enough. Like every one of us have got through our worst days. We have 100% record
100%,
of getting through our worst days. So keep the faith in yourself. Ask for help. And Cillian, gentlemen, thank you so much. Peace.
Peace.
James.
Ow.